Mashle, Magic and Muscles released its anime adaptation on April 8th, 2023 with extremely positive reception from the anime community at large. The premise of the series is incredibly simple. In a realm full of magicians and sorcerers, a young man by the name of Mash is the only person in the world who cannot use magic, as evident by the lack of a mark on his face. But even though he cannot use magic, Mash has a superhuman amount of strength, really to almost a Toon Force degree of ridiculousness. After his adoptive grandfather is held hostage, Mash is forced to enroll at Easton Magic Academy and must become a divine visionary who are revered as one of God's chosen and one of the most influential people in the nation. Real quick pause on this video. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a question for you. Are you looking for something fashionable and affordable to wear anime related these days? Are you looking for an anime inspired t-shirt, a hoodie, a hat, or even like lights or anything of that nature? Well, boy, I tell you, head on over to animeexpressstore.com and oh yeah, they'll hook you up over there. I actually just copped one of these Mega Me t-shirts. This thing's actually fire. I'm actually so excited to get it. And ladies and gentlemen, I have a special announcement for y'all. Go ahead at your next checkout, hit code DAFFY10 for 10% off your next purchase, man. Oh yeah, we sponsored now, so I can curse in this bitch. Yeah! Remember, Daffy10, DAFFY10 for 10% off on your next purchase, man. This series is a trip, man. All too recently, there's been a wave of ultra serious and ultra violent anime hitting the mainstream and captivating audiences, and I enjoy them quite a bit. Cyberpunk Edge Runners, Vinland Saga, JJK, Chainsaw Man, Attack on Titan, the list goes on, right? So when we come into Mashle, this story is nothing like that at all. This series knows exactly what it is and doesn't attempt to be anything else. This story is goofy front to back. The creep puff gag is pretty hit or miss for myself personally, but some of that is just because I'm a bitter old man when it comes to anime at this point in my life. The references to Harry Potter and other magic-based fantasy stories is everywhere, and if you're a fan of the genre, I'm sure that this show is a must-watch for you. This show's humor isn't dark or anything like that, as the entire thing is lighthearted from top to bottom, with sprinkles of some dark elements here and there. One of the first interactions Mash has with somebody in the story is a member of the magic police who tries to start a fight with Mash, and Mash hits him with one of the biggest establishments of dominance I've ever seen in fiction, and he just rips this nigga's clothes right off his body. I'm gonna be completely real with you. If anybody ever just ripped the clothes off of my body after I instigated said fight, I just have to go and sit and ponder like real hard about my life decisions that led up to that point. That, or I just decide to fight him oiled up and butt ass naked, or suffocate him with my ass cheeks or something, I don't know. As Mash goes through Easton Magic Academy, he slowly makes friends that accompany him on his journey. And if I'm being completely honest, I think that they are the weakest part of the show. Lemon isn't really a character. She's a caricature of the quote-unquote girl who has feelings for the protagonist when they have zero interest trope. She's basically an amalgamation of the worst iterations of Amy Rose from the Sonic franchise, where she has no real goals or ambitions that don't involve the main character, and if she does, they're pretty cliche anyway. Dot is funny, right? Dot's my guy, love Dot, but again, he's fairly basic, right? Like, he has red hair, so you already know his personality type for the most part, and he has fire magic. Now tell me, when I told you he has fire magic, are you really surprised? He has this mark on his head, the Era Cruz, that signifies that those who have it get boost to their power whenever their emotions are high, but I mean, that's just a trope for the genre anyway. Plus, when it happened to him, I didn't really feel like it was a super crazy reveal. I was super underwhelmed considering that the person he was fighting just had wind magic and he himself has fire magic, and these are both pretty basic and not super impressive compared to other things we've seen in the show, not just in, fantasy-based stories. We have Lance, whose gravity magic is actually pretty interesting. He's the cool, reserved type, but he has this infatuation with his sister that's played for gags throughout the show. It's nothing incestuous, but it's kind of odd, and the jokes themselves didn't really land for me too much. There is one gag in particular where he offers somebody merch of his sister that got a decent laugh out of me, but they usually just get a light chuckle out of me, and that's about it. But besides that, I really enjoy this show, man. Now, for those that have not watched the show or have just seen clips of it, it would be easy to believe that Mash himself is a boring protagonist. He has the same blank face on him the entire time, and he seems to be in the same constant state of emotions from front to back every episode, right? But that's the thing, Mash himself is a perfect example of show, not tell when it comes to characters' actions and their motivations. Just because Mash isn't screaming, "I'm gonna become Hokage," or telling everyone that he's gonna be king of the pirates, we very clearly understand his emotions, goals, and what he's feeling in every single scene. While Mash himself isn't particularly intelligent, in fact, he's a bit daft, particularly when it comes to doors, but the ingenuity he comes up with to solve problems that come his way with no magic use is not just hilarious, but it's very interesting in each application. If I personally had to pick a favorite usage of Mash using muscle magic, it would have to be when Lance was teaching Mash and Finn how to quiet these onion root things, because if they didn't, man, they might scream my blood clot lungs off. Well, Mash, as we know, cannot perform magic of any kind whatsoever. So because of this, the Mandragora starts to grow larger and larger and become more upset, so Mash gets up in this thing's face and smacks the holy shit out of it. Whenever Mash himself runs into someone that he doesn't care for or that he finds despicable, he has no qualms about outright threatening them or giving them the punishment that they deserve. Now, obviously, Mash isn't going to kill anybody because this isn't that kind of show, but when it comes to Mash standing on business, oh yeah, he once punched this dude twice, went and sat down, waited for Buddy to get up, and then asked if he was going to be ready to take another hit. Whenever people talk about like aura, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about, man. Mash has this tendency to make friends with almost everybody that he comes into contact with, and the applications of his muscle magic that he uses on his opponents is so interesting because you would think it'd be so basic, but when he has these like techniques that he names, and it's just like, you know, these lion barrage like moves and all these different wrestling moves and these suplexes and all these different things, it's so interesting because we have all these characters who are just stunned because they've never seen anything like this, but to us, we kind of see some similar applications of the real world when it comes to strength and all these things. But for the people in Mash's world, they're used to magic and wands and all that and all those kinds of things. And then here comes little old Mash, right? Obviously, y'all know me. I love an underdog story. And I think that if you are a casual viewer or if you're just, you know, a long-time anime viewer, I think that this thing will definitely have some things for you to enjoy. Now, is the art style a bit generic? Kind of. It's not really striking in a particular way, but it's very easy, pleasant to look at. It's very easy to follow. This isn't anything that's going to dampen your mood or anything like that. This isn't a super contemplative anime, but I generally do think that it is a good, wholesome, enjoyable watch. Now, I personally have not read Mashle Magic and Muscles manga, so I really do hope that we get a overarching antagonist. I want a large threat on the horizon for Mash to see if he can defeat or, you know, summon the help of his friends or something like that, because as of now, the anime generally does have a structure. We're still kind of going through like these kind of, you know, contained arcs, and they're still very lighthearted and all that, but I definitely have seen certain dark elements peppered here and there in the manga, and I am tempted for it to kind of go all the way, and I do want to see how far we can take it, and I want to see mentally what Mash is prepared to endure in the world. But also, I'm not entirely sure if that's what the author is going for, because I don't think it's that kind of manga. I don't think that it's gonna have to do with, you know, Mash having to kill somebody and then like realizing, oh my god, I'm a horrible person. I doubt we're gonna see anything like existentialism or anything like that, but I want to see some terrifying threats that want to push Mash to his limit. That's what I want to see, because every encounter that Mash has had up to this point, he's made friends with, or it's been treated off as a joke or something along those lines. A lot of these fights don't have too much emotional weight to them, so I definitely want to see some emotional stakes start coming our way as far as the story goes. But that's just me personally. I'm also very curious to see how they handle Finn's development as a magician, because obviously it's been, you know, a thing that, oh, Finn, characters like this that are so scared to fight and they're terrified, they actually have some unique power and they're actually like top 10 in the verse and stuff like that. I'm really hoping that the anime or the manga sticks the landing with how they develop Finn's power set, because at the moment he seems kind of useless. He seems just like a gag character, right? I could make a Zenitsu comparison, but I don't think it's that egregious or anything like that. I'm just very frustrated whenever I see Finn on screen because he's usually just freaking out, and I'm wondering, well, how did you get so far into this school and your brother is Rain, a divine visionary who is a 3-liner, by the way, and one of the strongest people in the show? How did you get this far? So I don't know. I'm pleasantly surprised, and I'm hoping that there isn't some big ass pull or something like that. Kind of like the Leah Cruz that Dot has, because that just felt unearned. It just feels weird. It feels like it really didn't do that much, but we're still so early in the show, so there's plenty of time to change. The animation in this show is pretty good. A lot of the comedic scenes are very minimalistic, but when the action actually starts going, it's very fluid, it's very dynamic. But I actually do want to see some stylistic changes. I want to see some thicker lines, some almost like a Street Fighter 5 intro-esque like breaststrokes and things like that. It's just a pet peeve of mine, but I don't like when anime stick to the character sheets too hard. It's part of the reason why I love season 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen, is because the artists and animators' different styles really shine through. Like, for example, you have the Mahoraga versus Sukuna fight and the Jogo fight back to back, and those character models look almost nothing alike, but you can still obviously know it's that character. I want to see more stuff like that. It's one of my big issues with My Hero Academia in particular, and not that the animation is bad when it is good, but I'm saying when a lot of these animation and these Sakuga moments happen in My Hero, it's almost a little too similar to everything else in the series. I want to see some just off the wall crazy stuff, right? Like, you know how people back in the day were dogging that fight between Pain and I believe it was Six-Tailed Naruto with the Kyuubi cloak. If that were to happen nowadays, people would be saying it's peak. Obviously, people would be posting clips on Twitter and slandering all these different kinds of other titles. So I definitely want to see more stuff going forward in the future. Just we're at a totally different space as far as an anime community when it comes to accepting animation styles. So that's another just small thing that I would like to add. Obviously, I know season 2 is now premiering currently, and I'm actually very excited to see where the season goes. I'm thinking we're gonna get some sort of tournament arc. I do not read the manga. I'm actually holding off of reading on the manga for this because I am excited to see where the show will go. I'm excited to see if there's a darker turn. I did see a picture of the main antagonist, and he looks absolutely sick. But that's about it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. How do you guys feel about Mashle, Magic and Muscles? I'm curious, man. Just let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think this is a good watch? Do you guys think it's okay? Do you guys think it's bad? What do you guys think? Let me know. Anyway, guys, baby boy Daffy, thank you guys so much for joining me on this video, and I will see you in the next video. Now make sure you take care of yourselves. Have a good one. Peace.